The cost of living refers to the amount of money needed to cover basic expenses such as housing, food, healthcare, education, and other daily necessities. Over time, this cost can change due to inflation, economic conditions, and changes in personal spending habits. In this video, we will compare the cost of living now, in 2025, with how it was 5 years ago, in 2020, exploring various factors that have influenced the cost of living during this period. 1. Housing costs. In 2020, housing prices, particularly in cities, were rising steadily due to increased demand. However, the COVID-19 pandemic had a temporary effect on the market. With people staying at home and many companies allowing remote work, some people moved away from crowded urban areas to suburban or rural regions. This led to a temporary decrease in demand for city homes and apartments, although prices remained high in popular cities like New York, San Francisco, and London. Fast forward to 2025 and housing prices have continued to increase. The demand for homes, especially in urban centers, surged as people returned to offices and population growth increased. Many cities have seen the cost of buying or renting a home jump by over 20% compared to 5 years ago. Additionally, inflation and supply chain issues have made building materials more expensive, which has further pushed up construction costs. Therefore, housing is now more expensive than ever for many people, especially in desirable areas. 2. Food and grocery prices. Food is an essential part of our daily lives, and changes in food prices can have a significant impact on the overall cost of living. The cost of groceries has risen substantially in the past 5 years. In 2020, the COVID-19 pandemic caused disruptions in supply chains, which led to shortages of some products and higher food prices. During the early months of the pandemic, many stores experienced hoarding, causing certain food items to become scarce and more expensive. However, as the world adapted to the new conditions, food prices stabilized and slowly returned to normal levels by the end of the year. In 2025, food prices have continued to rise, largely due to inflation, labor shortages in agriculture, and supply chain issues that persist in some parts of the world. For example, the price of meat, dairy, and vegetables has increased, and consumers are spending more on groceries than they did 5 years ago. According to some reports, food prices have increased by about 10 to 20% since 2020, with more significant price hikes in some countries. 3. Transportation. Transportation costs have changed significantly over the past 5 years, affecting both drivers and public transit users. Whether commuting by car or relying on buses and trains, getting around has become more expensive. In 2020, the pandemic led to widespread travel restrictions and lockdowns, reducing demand for gasoline and public transportation. Gas prices dropped to their lowest levels in years, and many people drove less. Public transit systems also saw a decline in passengers as remote work became common, and people avoided crowded spaces. In 2025, as the global economy recovered, transportation costs surged. Gas prices soared due to increased demand and geopolitical tensions disrupting oil supply chains. In some regions, gas prices have risen over 30% compared to 2020. The cost of owning a car has also gone up, with higher expenses for insurance, repairs, and maintenance due to inflation in the automotive industry. Public transit fares have also increased in many cities to cover operational costs, making daily commutes more expensive for everyone. 4. Healthcare. Healthcare is another area where costs have risen significantly over the past 5 years. Whether it's insurance premiums, out-of-pocket expenses, or prescription drug prices, healthcare costs are a concern for many. In 2020, the pandemic placed significant strain on healthcare systems, and the costs associated with COVID-19 testing, treatment, and vaccines created additional expenses. At the same time, many people delayed non-urgent medical procedures during the pandemic, which led to a temporary reduction in overall healthcare spending. In 2025, healthcare costs have continued to increase. Medical insurance premiums have risen due to higher demand for medical care after the pandemic and the continued advancements in medical technology. Prescription drug prices have also increased, and patients are spending more on medications than 5 years ago. 5. Education. Education costs have been rising across all levels, from primary schooling to university and vocational training. The steady increase in tuition and related expenses has made access to quality education more challenging for many families. The COVID-19 pandemic in 2020 disrupted global education, closing schools and shifting learning online. This rapid transition increased reliance on digital tools, benefiting some but disadvantaging others. Families saved on transportation and housing, yet many students faced challenges due to limited in-person instruction, unequal internet access, and reduced social interaction, impacting learning outcomes and mental well-being. In 2025, education costs have escalated further, particularly in higher education. University tuition fees have continued to climb, leading to increasing concerns about student debt. Many graduates now face higher debt levels than those who completed their studies 5 years ago. Although online education has become more widespread, it has not always been a cheaper alternative. Many virtual programs now charge fees comparable to traditional in-person courses, making affordability a persistent challenge for students worldwide. 6. Entertainment and leisure. After the lockdowns of the pandemic, many people are eager to return to normal and enjoy leisure activities. Entertainment and travel have become significant expenses once again. In 2020, most entertainment options were closed or limited due to the pandemic. People spent less money on travel, dining out, and attending events. With fewer opportunities for leisure, many people had more disposable income, but they were also cautious with their spending. In 2025, as the world has returned to normal, entertainment costs have risen. The cost of dining out, attending concerts, traveling, and going on vacations has gone up due to inflation and increased demand for these services. The travel industry, in particular, has seen price hikes in flights, hotels, and vacation packages as people flock to popular destinations after years of restrictions. 7. Technology. In 2020, the pandemic drove a surge in demand for tech like laptops, tablets, and smartphones for remote work, communication, and entertainment. Despite high demand, prices stayed mostly stable, with occasional discounts due to economic challenges. Businesses adapted quickly, fueling innovation in virtual collaboration and digital connectivity. In 2025, technology has continued to advance, and new devices and innovations have emerged. However, the price of cutting-edge technology, such as the latest smartphones, gaming consoles, and computers, has risen due to inflation and higher manufacturing costs. Consumers are now paying more for tech products than 5 years ago, although the variety of options available means that there are still affordable alternatives. In conclusion, the cost of living in 2025 has increased significantly compared to 2020, affecting essential expenses such as housing, food, transportation, healthcare, education, and entertainment. While some costs briefly declined during the pandemic, they have since surged due to inflation, supply chain disruptions, and shifting consumer demands. These rising expenses have placed financial strain on many individuals and families, making it more challenging to maintain savings and achieve financial stability. Additionally, wage growth has not always kept pace with inflation, further exacerbating the issue. As economic conditions continue to evolve, factors such as technological advancements, global trade policies, and demographic shifts will shape future living costs. Governments and businesses may need to adapt policies and strategies to address affordability concerns. Moving forward, individuals will have to make careful financial decisions to navigate these challenges and secure a stable financial future in an increasingly expensive world. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. Your support means a lot. Thank you.